times change, for political parties and the people who support them. Abraham Lincoln was the first U.S. president from the Republican Party. He led the country through the Civil War that preserved the Union and ended slavery. After the war, newly enfranchised African American male voters supported the Republican Party, which was committed to civil rights for the recently emancipated. At the same time, the Democratic Party included white supremacists who opposed civil rights for black citizens. But during the 20th century, things began to change. Democrat Franklin D. Roosevelt, first elected in 1932, made his party more appealing to African Americans. FDR took measures to lead the country out of an economic depression. And while that was happening, civil rights became less important to many Republicans. African American support for FDR spiked in 1936, and support for Democratic presidential candidates has remained strong ever since. Another shift happened in the 1960s. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965 passed with support from both parties at the urging of Democratic President Lyndon B. Johnson. After those votes, white segregationist Democrats fled the party in large numbers, creating Republican majorities across the South. The modern political landscape is now almost a reverse image of the one that existed more than a century ago, with African Americans overwhelmingly supporting the Democrats and Republicans backed predominantly by whites.